before stepping into the new gateway of 2024. Let's pause for a moment and heed the advice from someone who has changed countless lives, Tracy. Welcome to Motivation Radio, where we don't just receive motivation, but we also find deep inspiration to become a better version of ourselves. Tracy dedicated his entire life to uncovering the secrets of success and shaping a wing mindset. His advice isn't just theory, they are principles proven over time by successful individuals worldwide. The thoughts and knowledge he shares not only help us achieve goals, but transform us into individuals with stronger consciousness and willpower. At this moment, as the new year draws near, let Tracy's words lay the foundation for our fresh start. Let's focus on turning dreams into reality, cultivating positive habits, and making positive changes in our lives.
Your self-ideal is shaped by the traits you admire in the various men and women you've respected throughout your life. This especially rings true when you delve into the biographies and autobiographies of noteworthy individuals, rather than focusing on less inspiring figures like troubled rock stars. Imagine immersing yourself in the lives of remarkable people like Madame Curie, Thomas Edison, or Mother Teresa. These stories often feature individuals rising from humble origins to achieve incredible feats. As you read about their qualities, their perseverance, and their accomplishments, you begin to internalize these traits. You find yourself thinking, I want to be like that. This absorption process is almost like osmosis, where you gradually adopt these qualities. So when faced with a challenge, you too feel ready to be brave, determined, and maintain a positive attitude, just like the heroes you read about. The more you learn about inspirational figures, the more refined and elevated your ideal self becomes. This ideal serves as an internal benchmark, creating a perpetual dynamic tension between who you are now and who you aspire to be. Those who believe they are already perfect often close themselves off to growth and, ironically, are typically less admirable. Contrastingly, the most admirable individuals are those who constantly strive for self-improvement. They believe they can always do better, be more successful, compassionate, patient, and loving, even when others perceive them as highly accomplished. These individuals don't rest on their laurels, but continually set higher standards for themselves. This mindset keeps them in a state of ongoing growth, always pushing forward to become better in every aspect. When you admire certain individuals, you naturally start to emulate them, often without even realizing it. That's why it's crucial to focus on and discuss people you genuinely respect. A significant concern today is that many young people look up to celebrities like divas, rock stars, basketball players, and dancers. You can gauge their admiration by observing who they follow and talk about on social media, who they watch, and whose performances they repeatedly view. Unfortunately, these figures often aren't the best role models for young people. Their lifestyles and behaviors might not embody the values and qualities that contribute to meaningful personal development and success. It's healthier and more beneficial to admire individuals who exemplify positive traits and achievements, steering young minds towards more constructive paths of emulation. My life has been significantly and positively influenced by role models, primarily men, who mentored me during my challenging upbringing and difficult home life. These figures became beacons for me, and even now, years later, I find myself striving to be someone they would approve of. This reminds me of a poignant statement by Somerset Maugham when he was asked about his prolific writing. He said, "I write to earn the respect of the people I respect." This sentiment, I believe, is true for life in general. We often act in ways that will earn or maintain the respect of those we admire. Many of us are willing to endure considerable hardships and make sacrifices just to avoid losing the respect of someone whose opinion we deeply value. This desire to be respected by those we respect shapes much of what we do and how we live our lives. Reflecting on whose respect matters to you is crucial. Ask yourself, who plays a significant role in my life? Whom do I genuinely respect? Then consider what actions you need to take or avoid to earn or maintain their respect. It's important to note that these individuals don't necessarily have to be people you know personally. They can be anyone you find admirable. There's a distinction between self-image, your perception of who you currently are, and self-esteem, which is how much you appreciate and like yourself. Imagine your self-image as your current self and your self-ideal as the best version of yourself that you aspire to be. There's a dynamic tension between these two aspects. Every time you act in a way that aligns with your ideal self, your self-esteem increases. You feel better about yourself whenever your actions or words mirror those of the person you aspire to be. Conversely, when you act in ways that diverge from this ideal, for instance, losing your temper or acting impatiently, your self-esteem takes a hit. Successful individuals constantly strive to align their behavior more closely with their self-ideal, the version of themselves they admire the most. By doing so, they continuously enhance their self-esteem and move closer to becoming the person they aspire to becoming the person they aspire to be. Each time you act in a manner that aligns with the best version of yourself, your self-respect and self-appreciation grow. Adopting this as a lifestyle where you consistently engage in behaviors and embody qualities admired in others can have a profound impact. It's a seemingly small shift, but it carries great significance. Your self-esteem is closely tied to the gap between your current self-image, and your ideal self-image, and your ideal self-ideal. When this gap narrows because your actions and behaviors align more closely with your self-ideal, your self-esteem is high. Conversely, when the gap widens, perhaps due to a lapse in judgment or behavior that deviates from your ideal self, your self-esteem tends to decrease. Recognizing and working towards minimizing this gap is key to enhancing your self-esteem. It involves a continual process of self-reflection and striving to embody the characteristics of those you admire most. This journey towards self-improvement not only boosts your self-esteem, but also shapes you into the person you aspire to be. Striving to emulate your ideal self boosts both your self-esteem and self-confidence. When you receive a compliment that aligns with your progress towards becoming a better person, it brings genuine happiness. It validates your journey towards your ambitious goal. The process of transforming yourself concept involves several stages. The first and foremost is recognizing that the change you desire is both appealing and essential. It's like the old joke about changing a light bulb. The light bulb must want to change. Similarly, for personal change to occur, you must see it as something desirable, a goal you're eager to achieve, and also as necessary. It's about understanding that this change is a crucial step in realizing your full potential. This dual recognition of desirability and necessity is the foundation upon which meaningful and lasting self-improvement is built. If you aspire to develop a self-concept of being a well-controlled, organized, and positive person, you'll likely view this transformation as essential for achieving significant influence in your social or professional circles, or even for excelling in roles like sales. Similarly, if you aim to be highly organized, recognizing that organization is key to success in competitive business environments, you'll see this trait as both desirable and necessary. This combination of desirability and necessity becomes the driving force behind your motivation. It's not just about wanting to be organized and positive. It's also about understanding that these qualities are vital for your success and fulfillment in your chosen field or life path. This realization propels you forward, fueling your commitment to personal growth and the development of a self-concept that aligns with your goals and aspirations. The second step in changing your self-concept involves envisioning yourself as the person you aspire to be. It's about actively thinking and imagining yourself in that role. Take the example of John Aroff, who will be presenting a program called The Inner Game of Financial Success. This concept is similar to what Timothy Galway discussed in his influential books, Inner Tennis and Inner Golf. Galway's principle, which aligns with our discussion here, is simple yet powerful. If you want to improve in an area, say tennis, start by visualizing yourself as a world champion player. Imagine how a champion would move, swing the racket, and carry themselves on the court. You've seen the racket and carry themselves on the court. You've seen these champions in action on television, so replicate that in your mind by adopting the mindset of, I am a world champion, and thinking about how you would act in that role. You can actually elevate your performance. This technique isn't just about pretending. It's about changing your internal narrative to align with your aspirations, which can lead to tangible improvements in your abilities and behavior. The concept of visualizing yourself as a world-class athlete, whether in tennis, golf, or any other sport, can significantly enhance your performance. This technique is what Timothy Galway refers to as the inner game of tennis or golf. By simply entertaining the idea that you're a world champion or a great golfer and imagining yourself excelling in that role, you can actually improve your real-life performance. This principle isn't confined to sports. It applies broadly to any skill or endeavor. For example, a friend who is into karate benefited from this mindset. By envisioning himself as an outstanding karate practitioner, he was able to perform with less stress and more confidence. He didn't just imagine himself as competent, but as a champion, admired and respected for his skill. This mental shift led to him achieving higher grades and winning more contests than ever before. And he found the process surprisingly easy. The reason this approach works so well is due to the power of the subconscious mind. When you constantly hold an image of yourself as excellent in a particular area, your subconscious begins to align your actions and behaviors with this new self-perception. It organizes your movements, decisions, and responses in a way that matches this envisioned excellence, leading to improved real-world performance. To initiate meaningful change, start by creating clear mental images of the person you want to become. Visualizing yourself performing at your best acts as a direct command to your subconscious mind. Think of each visualization as a seed you're planting in the fertile ground of your subconscious. Just as a garden nurtures and grows the seeds planted within it, your subconscious mind cultivates the behaviors you've visualized. This approach is rooted in self-image psychology, which shows how powerful visualization can be. When you consistently visualize yourself as positive, confident, successful, and happy, your subconscious begins to align your external behaviors with these internal images. This alignment doesn't feel forced or unnatural. Instead, it becomes a natural extension of yourself. It becomes a natural extension of your self-concept. The transformative aspect of this process is that it doesn't just change how you act superficially. It gradually modifies your inherent behavior patterns, making the new positive behaviors feel completely natural to you. By consistently feeding your subconscious mind with these positive visualizations, you set the stage for genuine and lasting change in your behavior and attitude. Practicing visualization consistently is key because each time you do it, your subconscious interprets it as a new command. It's as if you're repeatedly achieving excellence, reinforcing that image with every mental rehearsal. Particularly before significant events, replaying this positive visualization can greatly influence your success. However, for visualization to be most effective, your mental images need to be clear, vivid, and exciting. The clarity of your visualization speeds up its manifestation into reality. Vividness is crucial. The more detailed and lifelike your mental picture, the more powerful its impact. To enhance the vividness of your visualizations, you can use real-life images and experiences. For instance, if you're visualizing living in a beautiful home, visiting actual homes, taking photos, or browsing through magazines like Architectural Digest can provide tangible images to feed into your mental computer. By repeatedly exposing your mind to these images, you're programming your subconscious to align your actions and decisions towards achieving the kind of home you desire. This method applies not just to physical possessions or achievements, but also to personal qualities and professional successes. By vividly picturing yourself as the person you want to be, successful, confident, happy, you're directing your subconscious to work towards making that image a reality. It's about using the power of your mind to shape your external circumstances, starting from within. Your mental image's clarity is essential. As the clearer it is, the faster it will manifest into reality. Affirmations play a crucial role in this process. These are strong, positive statements that you repeatedly tell yourself and believe. The words you say to yourself and believe are the most powerful in your world. With affirmations, you essentially have unlimited potential for your future. In essence, you become what you consistently affirm to yourself. By repeating these affirmations, you embed them deeper into your subconscious, programming it to bring these affirmations into your reality. Consider the extraordinary case of the individual who wrote down 101 goals. Remarkably, Each of these goals materialized in his life within 12 years. While this story is impressive, it's not unique. It's a testament to the power of affirmations. Affirmations work based on three P's: personal, positive, and present tense. They should always be personal, starting with I am, for example. I am, I earn, I achieve, I wake. This personalization makes the affirmation directly relevant to you and your goals. It's not just about making a statement. It's about embedding a belief within yourself about your capabilities and your future. This repeated internal affirmation gradually reshapes your mindset and drives you towards making those statements a reality. The second aspect of effective affirmations is their positivity, as in statements like I like myself or I am responsible. The third key element is the present tense. Affirmations should reflect your goals as if they're already achieved, such as I earn X number of dollars per year, I weigh X number of pounds, I drive a specific model of BMW, or I live in a 3,500 Sescu custom-made house. A compelling example of this principle in action is the story of one of my seminar graduates. After attending the seminar, he unexpectedly lost his job, which initially seemed like a setback. However, one of his affirmations was to live in a brand new 3,500 squaffed custom designed home. Within a year, after going through 2 job changes and a salary increase, he was on the verge of closing on such a house. In an interesting twist, the house turned out to be a custom designed one that the builder had originally intended for himself, but then decided to sell. This story illustrates the potential power of affirmations. While there's no absolute guarantee that affirmations will always lead to desired outcomes, the possibility and frequency of success stories suggest they're worth trying. The idea is not just about wishful thinking. It's about conditioning your mind to align with your aspirations, thereby influencing your actions and decisions towards achieving those goals. Therefore, it's crucial to always speak to yourself in positive, personal, and present terms, reinforcing the belief in your capabilities and your future achievements. When setting your goals, express them as powerful affirmations. Say things like, I earn a certain amount, I weigh this amount, I live in this type of home, or I have achieved this net worth. The key is in verbalization, speaking your goals out loud. When you voice your affirmations, they have a significantly greater impact compared to just thinking them. This is similar to what football coaches do to energize their players before a game. They don't just whisper, they shout, what are we going to do? We're going to win. This loud declaration boosts motivation far more effectively than merely saying it quietly to oneself. Standing in front of a mirror and loudly affirming your goals like I like myself, I can do it, I feel terrific, significantly amplifies their impact. Whenever someone asks me how I'm feeling, I always respond with, I feel terrific. This was especially true during my cancer treatment. People would ask about my well-being and I'd reply, I feel great. Everything's going wonderfully terrific. It might not have reflected my exact situation, but I was speaking my future truth into existence. This is the power of verbalization. By simply saying your affirmations out loud, you enhance their effectiveness by as much as 80. Adopt the mindset of the person you aspire to become. Emulate their demeanor, the way they walk, talk, and act. For instance, I advise salespeople to envision themselves as incredibly wealthy individuals, say with a net worth of $100 million. Imagine this wealth is yours, but you have a hobby of visiting clients for a friend who owns a business. When you meet a client, carry yourself as if you have this immense wealth and are indifferent to whether they make a purchase. Your primary interest lies in understanding their needs and assisting them, regardless of whether they buy something. This attitude stems from your fictional wealth. You're doing this favor for a friend, not because you need the sale. Adopting the mindset of, I'm already wealthy, removes any hint of desperation from your demeanor, particularly crucial when business is slow and you desperately need the sale. This desperation can create a tense edge in your voice, making customers wary. However, when you appear relaxed and unconcerned about whether they say yes or no, customers are more likely to be drawn to you. Of course, you do care about the sale. That's why you're there, but you don't let this concern overwhelm you. This more relaxed and confident approach makes customers feel more confident and increases the likelihood of them buying from you. Embrace the role of the person you aspire to be. If your goal is to be popular, start by treating others as if you're already popular. Remember, emotions can drive actions just as actions can create emotions. By acting as if you're already the person you wish to be, walking, talking, and behaving like them, you'll start to generate the corresponding feelings. This creates a cycle where your actions reinforce your feelings and vice versa. This concept, known as the principle of reversibility, is incredibly powerful. Essentially, you're acting your way into a new mindset. The adage, fake it till you make it, rings true here. By pretending to have a certain quality, you begin to feel it. For instance, acting confident leads to feeling confident, and pretending to be happy leads to actual happiness. This principle is exemplified by Frank Bettger, who detailed his journey from failure to success in sales in his influential book. He discusses how adopting a successful persona helped transform his sales career, especially during his initial struggles. Frank Bettger's experience, as shared by his sales manager, is a classic example of the power of attitude in achieving success. Struggling with sales, Bettger was advised that his lack of enthusiasm was a major barrier. His manager's message was clear. Regardless of how he felt, he needed to act enthusiastic. This advice transformed Bettger's approach. He adopted the mantra, act enthusiastic, feel enthusiastic, inspired by his own experiences and the insights from his book, a cornerstone in sales training literature. Bettger's change in attitude had a remarkable impact. He started to embody enthusiasm, and this shift in behavior rapidly altered his feelings. He didn't just act enthusiastic. He became genuinely enthusiastic. This change propelled him to become the country's top insurance salesman, earning millions and teaching thousands the same principle. To feel enthusiastic, you must first act enthusiastic. By pretending to have the quality, it soon becomes a part of your reality. This approach demonstrates the profound effect that adopting a certain mindset and behavior can have on achieving success and transforming one's life. This example highlights the contagious nature of happiness and enthusiasm, often more pronounced in men at social events. Imagine a scenario at a party. A man initially reluctant to dance due to tiredness from a long week is persuaded to join in for just one song. The transformation is notable. Once he starts dancing, he becomes the life of the party, continuing for hours, well into the night. This change occurs simply because he took the first step to participate. This phenomenon aligns with what Chalene referred to as the 5-minute rule. The idea is that by immersing yourself in an activity, even for just a few minutes, your feelings begin to align with the action. In this case, the act of dancing, initially forced, becomes a genuine source of enjoyment and engagement. This principle illustrates how actions can lead to a shift in emotions and attitudes. By actively participating, even reluctantly at first, you can find yourself fully engaged and enjoying the experience, underscoring the power of acting as if to evoke genuine feelings of happiness and enthusiasm. The VAVA formula, constituting the 4 keys to rapid personality change, begins with visualization. First, envision yourself precisely as you wish to be. The clearer and more detailed this mental image, the quicker it will manifest into reality. Clarity is crucial in this process. Secondly, focus on affirmation. State your goals and desires in clear, straightforward language, simple enough for a child to understand. It's important to recognize that the subconscious mind is very literal and responds best to commands phrased in the positive present tense. Moreover, simplicity is key. The subconscious mind operates more effectively with uncomplicated commands. For instance, instead of a convoluted goal like, I drive a new car that I get from the dealership after several visits. Once I have a clear mental image and have saved enough for a down payment, simplify it. A more effective affirmation would be, I drive a new car. This concise statement is easily processed and acted upon by the subconscious mind, making it a powerful tool for personal transformation and the realization of your goals. The essence of setting effective goals is to keep them straightforward and clear. Imagine setting a goal like, I will drive this specific BMW by June 30th, 2011. This simplicity is key. The rule is that the goal should be so clear and uncomplicated that a 6-year-old could understand it, tell you if you've achieved it, and explain it to another child who would also grasp it. This clarity is crucial because your subconscious mind operates much like a child, responding best to simple, direct commands to optimize goal. Setting always include a specific achievement and a target date. Your subconscious mind, like a person taking a reservation at a restaurant, needs clear details to work effectively. You wouldn't make a dinner reservation without specifying the time, date, and number of people, as that would leave too much uncertainty for the restaurant to accommodate you properly. Similarly, your subconscious mind requires distinct parameters to focus on and work towards achieving your goal. Therefore, always be precise and simple with your goals, making it easier for your subconscious to assist you in reaching them. This insight reveals the astonishing power of setting clear goals. When you precisely define a goal, vividly visualize it, and confidently affirm it, you might witness it coming to fruition incredibly fast, sometimes even within 24 hours. This phenomenon, even with goals initially set for a year, is not uncommon. In the exercise planned for tomorrow, which focuses on 1-year goals, there have been instances where participants achieved most of these objectives in just 5 days. This rapid realization of goals can manifest in various ways, like unexpected phone calls, chance encounters, or surprising mail, all aligning perfectly with their set goals. This astonishing speed in achieving goals, once they're clearly programmed into your mindset, will be further explored and understood in tomorrow's session. It demonstrates the remarkable impact of properly aligning your vision, affirmation, and subconscious programming towards your objectives. To effectively harness the power of goal, setting follow these 4 key steps. Visualize, clearly picture your goal. Imagine yourself achieving it in vivid detail. For example, see yourself earning a specific amount of money, driving your dream car, living in your ideal home. The more detailed your visualization, the better. Affirm, make clear and concise affirmative statements about your goals. These should be straightforward and easy to understand. For instance, I earn amounts of dollars, I drive specific cars, I drive specific, I live in a beautiful home. These affirmations should be unambiguous and direct. Verbalize. Speak your goals out loud with as much clarity as possible. Repeat them to yourself, ideally in front of a mirror. Make sure to smile and express joy while doing this, as it reinforces positive feelings associated with your goals. Assume the role. Assume the role. Behave as though you have already achieved your goals and are enjoying the success. This means carrying yourself with the confidence and demeanor of someone who has already realized these ambitions. By diligently practicing these 4 steps, visualize, affirm, verbalize, and assume the role, you create a powerful framework for turning your aspirations into reality. This process not only sets a clear path for your subconscious mind to follow, but also aligns your daily actions and attitudes with your goals, significantly increasing the likelihood of achieving them. This concept places individuals on a spectrum between irresponsibility and total responsibility, illustrating how personal accountability shapes our lives. At one end are those who view others as responsible for their circumstances, exhibiting a sense of irresponsibility. On the other end are individuals who accept total responsibility for their lives. These are the top 10%, the leaders. It's important to understand that leadership isn't defined by having followers or a staff. Instead, a leader is characterized by their behavior and attitude. A true leader assumes full responsibility for their actions and decisions. This attitude of total responsibility is what distinguishes a leader, even in the absence of traditional leadership roles. Embracing this level of responsibility brings a sense of control over various aspects of life, including physical, financial, and especially emotional aspects. The more responsibility you accept, the greater control you feel. This sense of control is empowering, enabling you to navigate life with confidence and purpose. Leaders, therefore, are not just those who guide others, but are also individuals who have taken charge of their own lives, demonstrating self-leadership through complete accountability. When individuals feel in charge of their lives, they experience a sense of control, which in turn translates to freedom. This quest for freedom is a fundamental human drive and is often the underlying reason people aspire to start their own businesses or accumulate wealth. The pursuit of freedom, whether it's in terms of financial independence, lifestyle choices, or personal expression, is a common goal for many. It's rare, if ever, to hear someone complain about having too much freedom. People naturally crave the liberty to make their own choices and live according to their values and desires. Contrastingly, there's a viewpoint regarding the role of government and politicians in this context. Some politicians may believe that the public has excessive freedom, leading to their support for increased taxes and regulations. These actions are often justified as being for the public's good, although they may be perceived as infringing on personal freedoms. However, it's uncommon for individuals themselves to desire less freedom or to willingly invite more constraints on their income and behaviors. In essence, the drive for personal control and responsibility is deeply tied to the human yearning for freedom, influencing many decisions, from career paths to political views. When you express it in such a way, it becomes clear nobody would consciously choose that path. Yet, it stands as one of today's significant challenges. Embracing more responsibility directly increases your control. With increased control comes greater freedom. This freedom, in turn, cultivates positive emotions. There's a direct, unmistakable connection between taking responsibility and gaining control, between freedom and experiencing positive emotions. Conversely, at the other end of the spectrum, shirking responsibility results in losing control, feeling dominated by external forces, a restriction of freedom, and consequently, the emergence of negative emotions. I dedicated 4,000 hours and several years of my youth to understanding negative emotions. This work is pivotal, impacting people globally. The barrier to an extraordinary life is solely these negative emotions. Fear and other negative feelings. Fear and other negative feelings. Imagine a life devoid of negative emotions. Nature detests emptiness. So what occupies the mind in their absence? It doesn't remain void. Rather, it becomes a haven for positive emotions like love, happiness, joy, and exhilaration. Thus, the crucial task in life is to eradicate negative emotions. By doing so, we unlock the immense potential of our subconscious and superconscious minds. So, how is this achieved? I've discovered a method effective as a dam in its operation. Let's delve into what I call the negative emotion tree, a concept I devised. Picture this tree with its trunk and extensive root system beneath the ground. On this tree, the fruits are various negative emotions. Anger, fear, and doubt are among the first to emerge. Then there's jealousy, often depicted as the green-eyed monster. Following closely is envy, a surprisingly potent force in modern politics. It often stems from those with less coveting what those with more possess, leading them to support those promising redistribution. Its twin, resentment, is never far behind, walking hand in hand with envy. Additionally, there's self-doubt and a myriad of fears, each branching out in its own direction. Within the spectrum of negative emotions, there are about 54 distinct types, each akin to fruits on the negative emotion tree. To effectively eliminate these negative emotions, the strategy is to starve their roots. By depriving the roots, the tree eventually withers and dies. Two key elements feed and sustain negative emotions. The first is justification. Justification occurs when you believe you have every right to your negative emotion. It's a sense of entitlement to feel negatively due to someone's actions or words. We often reinforce this by continuously mulling over reasons that we're justified in feeling anger, upset, or negativity towards another person. This internal monologue focuses solely on why we're entitled to these emotions. The second factor fueling negative emotions is identification, which essentially means taking things personally. When we personalize events, we attach negativity to them. Conversely, if we don't take things personally, we don't experience negative emotions in relation to those events. For instance, consider a robbery in a store in Bangladesh that occurred 2 weeks ago, affecting the finances of local people. We typically don't feel negative emotions about such an incident because we don't personalize it. Similarly, global tragedies like earthquakes and tsunamis, while unfortunate, often don't evoke a personal emotional response because they don't directly impact us. This detachment illustrates how personalization can intensify or reduce our emotional reactions. How many individuals truly lost sleep, tossing and turning, shedding tears over the Japanese tsunami and the subsequent nuclear reactor shutdown? Most of us read about it in the newspaper, then simply switched the channel to something lighter, like a comedy or sports. For the majority, there's no emotional attachment to such events because we don't take them personally. Therefore, if you cease to justify and stop crafting reasons to feel entitled to negative emotions, and if you refrain from taking things personally, your negative emotions will gradually begin to wither and fade away. To effectively starve the fruits of the negative emotion tree, we adopt a non-judgmental stance. This means deliberately choosing not to judge, to stand back. Prejudice, after all, is prejudgment. Refraining from judgment is a key principle for attaining peace of mind. The Bible, a source rich in wisdom for peace, advises, "Judge not, that you be not judged, for with whatever judgment you mete out, you shall be judged withal." This implies that judging others invites judgment upon oneself. By choosing not to judge, you avoid taking a side or forming an opinion, thereby severing any emotional attachment. This detachment is crucial. When confronted with information, instead of reacting with upset or anger, refrain from judgment. Adopt the mindset, let's gather all the facts first. This approach helps in disconnecting emotions from situations, leading to a more balanced and peaceful state of mind. I've had the privilege of working with exceptional leaders whose organizations faced significant crises. In every instance, their response was marked by a remarkable calmness, akin to still water. These leaders maintained a composed and passive demeanor, refraining from judgment. Their approach was to seek clarity. Let's understand exactly what happened. Let's understand exactly what happened. They would ask insightful questions, a method I detailed in my book titled Crunch Time, originally called Crunch Point. The core lesson of the book is to pause, remain composed, gather facts, and avoid rushing to judgment. These leaders steered clear of anger or agitation. They stayed serene. The true mark of success, as I've observed, is your ability to remain calm amidst the turbulence of the surrounding world, rather than being swept up in the chaos immediately. The second key is about identification, keeping a distance from taking things too personally. It's about embracing non-judgment and practicing detachment. Interestingly, the Buddhist philosophy, followed by around 600 million people globally, revolves around this principle: detachment or non-attachment. The essence lies in not getting emotionally entangled or attached to specific outcomes. Money, relationships, or jobs, it's when we become overly attached and emotionally invested that it can lead to unhappiness, anger, resentment, or negativity. Detachment is a powerful tool in navigating life without being weighed down by emotional burdens. That's precisely why maintaining emotional detachment is crucial, allowing you not to become overly affected by situations. It's adopting a mindset that acknowledges events as they occur, akin to reflecting on past occurrences with a sense of things just happen. It's like recognizing the classic phrase, "stuff happens," and being able to embrace that notion, enabling you to stay composed. Interestingly, this composure is the gateway to peace of mind. Moreover, it's intricately linked to self-worth, confidence, efficiency, and creativity. When emotions take over, your capacity for creativity and higher mental faculties diminish, leaving you in a fight or flight mode governed by fear, anger, and other instinctual responses. Maintaining clarity of thought becomes nearly impossible when emotions take the helm. Francis Bacon's profound line emphasizes this, where it maketh a man who can in no way be true to his own ends. It points to how excitement or excessive emotions can cloud judgment and distort reality. Therefore, the essential strategy is to remain composed. This is why the advice often circulates to take a deep breath, count to 10, stay calm, detach, get the facts, don't get upset, don't get involved. Such practices starve negative emotions, leading to a more serene and positive demeanor. Yet there's an even better strategy, eliminating negative emotions at their core. Cutting down the trunk of the tree, which is the root cause of blame and negativity. Blame serves as the root cause for about 99% of negative emotions.
It's akin to a tree trunk feeding various negative emotions.
Much like the lights on a Christmas tree connected to a power source, When you unplug that tree from the wall, what happens to those lights? They all fade simultaneously. Similarly, when you cease blaming, all your negative emotions subside. As long as blame is absent, negative emotions cease to exist, leaving room for a flood of positive emotions to fill your mind. How do we cease blaming? It's a simple yet incredibly powerful practice that has transformed my life profoundly. I apply it daily because, let's face it, life is full of challenging individuals, unexpected twists and setbacks. The pivotal question isn't about what happens, because that's beyond our control, but about our response, our ability to react. Remember, nothing and no one inherently provokes anger. A situation in itself holds no emotion, much like a rock. Emotion surfaces in a situation due to the way we interpret it, the justifications, identifications, or blame we attribute to it. To rid yourself of blame and negative emotions, embrace the law of substitution. Replace the blame. Fill thoughts with a simple affirmation. I am responsible. This shift in perspective is a game changer. This practice may appear deceptively simple, yet it remains a daily commitment for me. The power within it is undeniable. You see, accepting responsibility and blaming simply cannot coexist. One negates the other. When you accept responsibility, negativity dissipates. Empowerment takes its place. Say those words. I am responsible, and notice the shift within. Now bring to mind any negative experience that still lingers with anger or unhappiness. Replace those feelings with I am responsible. It's a transformative exercise. What struck me profoundly was understanding that our rationalizations are often rationalized. Our minds concoct reasons and justifications for holding on to negative emotions, all the while negating our own responsibility. What we should do instead is employ our minds to eradicate negative emotions, rather than turning against ourselves and causing emotional harm. Instead of inflicting self-inflicted emotional wounds that make us unhappy, we utilize our minds to eliminate negativity. When you recall any negative experience, counter it by affirming, wait a minute, I am responsible, I am responsible, I am responsible. Then explore the ways in which you bear responsibility. If you've been entangled in a negative situation for an extended period, adopting this method initially can be tough. There's an attachment to that negativity. It's like you've grown fond of it and don't want anyone to talk you out of it. People tend to hold on to their negativity. They're reluctant to let it go. So you'll need to toy with this idea. Let's say you had a dreadful relationship where someone treated you terribly, leading to a painful breakup or a stressful divorce. What you then say to yourself is, hold on, I am responsible. I am responsible. Now, in what way or how could I potentially be responsible? Well, I got myself into that situation. I chose to marry that person despite knowing it wasn't the right path. Even before the wedding, I had a gut feeling it wasn't a wise decision. But societal expectations and the invitations already sent compelled me to go through with it. Interestingly, 38 of individuals getting married admit that if not for the guests attending, they might have reconsidered. I had this enlightening encounter once. I hailed a taxi to the airport and informed the driver I was headed to Vancouver. His response caught me off guard. He said, it's refreshing to drive someone who's certain about where they're headed. It struck a chord, you know. He shared an intriguing experience from the previous night. He described a pickup requested by a woman at her residence. The catch: he was instructed to wait in the back alley while the passenger would emerge. As he navigated to the address, he found a street brimming with parked cars, vibrant lights, and a lively summer party in full swing. Deciding to wait around the block, he parked in the alley. After a brief pause, a woman hurriedly emerged with her luggage, jumped into the car, and exclaimed, "Take me to the airport." He was taken aback, but quickly set off towards the airport. Curious, he asked her, "So where are you headed?" Her response was unexpected. "The first plane out, in any direction." "I don't mind." He couldn't believe it, mentioning he'd never encountered such a request before. He continued the story saying, "All those people there at the party, that was my wedding reception." He explained that he had just tied the knot earlier that afternoon. But as the evening unfolded and he reached home while he was changing out of his wedding attire, his bride sat in the room expressing, "My goodness, What a mistake I've made. This is absurd. She was resolute about not taking it any further and decided, take me to the airport. I'm catching the first flight out in any direction. And she did exactly that. It's astonishing, though, that statistics from marriage counselors reveal that about 38% of married individuals have similar thoughts. Statistics from studying 100,000 counseling cases reveal an astonishing 38 of couples, on average, decide against tying the knot. It really leads to my point. If you faced a sour business deal, who led you into it? Was it your own decision? Did you knowingly tread that path, despite doubts? Or was there a lack of information? Use your sharp mind to examine all the ways you're responsible. As you do, the negativity starts to dissipate and you stop harboring negative feelings towards others. You take accountability, saying, well, I'm an adult. I made some wrong choices. That was really not smart. Then start acknowledging that was an unwise move. I should have thought it through, gathered more information, listened to my intuition, and so on. You're utilizing your mind to maintain composure, stay positive, and maintain clarity. Continually repeating, I'm responsible. I am responsible functions as the switch to your negative emotion tree. As you vocalize this mantra, the flow of negative emotions ceases. Having trouble sleeping? Just keep affirming to yourself, I'm responsible. I'm responsible. I am responsible. I'm having trouble. When you're driving and feeling frustrated, repeat, I am responsible, and start identifying reasons why you might be. As your mind focuses, because it can only dwell on one thing at a time, reasoning your responsibility in the situation halts the negative emotions. Eventually, they fade entirely, never to return. When you apply this to a negative situation that still ignites anger in you, use the mantra, wait a minute, I'm responsible. Each time that memory resurfaces, in a matter of a few days, consistently counter it. Soon, it fades and stops recurring until you realize, I haven't dwelled on that situation for weeks. Even if it pops up, slap it down with I'm responsible. It halts again and eventually vanishes for good. What was once a sleep, disturbing mind, churning ordeal diminishes within a few days, vanishing forever. It's akin to a fire extinguished, regardless of how much you revisit it, leaving no emotional residue. When you reach a point of complete calmness, you can recall the person, revisit the scenario, or even meet them without stirring any emotion. You've detached from those negative feelings, rendering the situation emotionally neutral. This key unlocks a transformative shift in life. Responsibility versus blame has been a recurring query. People often ask, if you accept responsibility, doesn't that mean admitting fault? But no, blame fixates on the past, dwelling on what's unchangeable. The word said, actions taken. The word said, actions taken. If only scenarios. Responsibility is forward-looking. It constantly inquires, what's the next step? How do we move forward? Keep in mind, our conscious mind entertains just one thought at a time. When your focus shifts to the future, to your aspirations and the path you're treading, there's no room to dwell on past grievances that cause distress. Contemplating the future brings joy, bestows a feeling of empowerment and liberation, and compels you to envision your desires. Helen Keller once beautifully said, when you turn your face to the sun, the shadows fall behind you. Similarly, when you contemplate your aspirations and the direction you're heading, negativity loses its hold, fading into the background, leaving you free from its grasp. When you repeatedly engage in an action, it becomes a habit. So consistently focusing on the positive eventually becomes a habit. It's not about naively ignoring life's challenges. It's understanding that only when you're calm and composed can you effectively address these challenges. You can't solve problems if you're engulfed in anger or frustration, lashing out at others. Saying, I am responsible is like calming the stormy seas. As soon as you accept responsibility, your emotions settle, empowering you to handle situations effectively without pointing fingers at others. It's a realization that many people hold on to their suffering, a discovery you'll make along the way. It's fascinating how some individuals seem to fall head over heels for their own suffering, almost as if it's a cherished companion. You meet them periodically, and they've always got a story of hardship to share. Whether it's about their backache, their problematic relationships, their challenging kids, or a litany of other grievances, the list goes on and on. They resemble Joe B.F. Sploke from the old Little Abner cartoon, a character followed by a dark cloud and misfortune wherever he went. It's like a stormy weather pattern, causing chaos wherever they tread. I recall a former colleague who carried this constant air of negativity with her. Her negativity seemed to possess this incredible power, almost like a force of nature. You'd have conversations with her, and you'd start to appreciate the wisdom of her ex-husband. Her perpetual negativity and bitterness were palpable. It seemed like she carried a storm cloud over her head. In fact, I vividly recall an incident with our office photocopier. It was a brand new machine, but when she approached it, it inexplicably malfunctioned, almost as if her negativity interfered with its functionality. Then there was the episode with her new car. She drove away from the dealership, and it's almost surreal to say, but the car combusted into flames, right there on the road. It was as if her negativity had ignited a fire, and the car devoured itself in a blazing spectacle. It was truly astonishing and terrifying to witness. They conducted a detailed investigation into the car, and the findings were baffling. The car itself was in perfect condition.
No technical faults, nothing that could explain the sudden combustion. It was a model known for its reliability, yet here it was, engulfed in flames.
It's almost eerie how her negative aura seemed to affect everything around her, from the photocopier to a perfectly functional car. Her constant negativity, dwelling on her past grievances and mistreatment, was like a shroud that enveloped her thoughts. Her ex-husband seemed to occupy every corner of her mind, and it was as if her fixation on her suffering fueled this destructive energy. Encountering individuals deeply enamored with their suffering and constantly narrating their woes brings to mind Emerson's advice to shake them back to their true selves. Barbara and I refer to this phenomenon as the advice. When Barbara, my wife, considered becoming a counselor, she realized that dealing with people's suffering on a daily basis would only bring that suffering back home. She didn't want that negativity to linger around her, so she decided on an alternative approach. Instead of delving into lengthy counseling sessions that would drain her emotionally, she devised a succinct and efficient strategy. Her method was simple yet profound. She'd lend a listening ear to those sharing their problems and respond with a direct question. What are you going to do about it? It was a way to gently nudge people to take ownership of their lives. Rather than dwelling on their problems, she'd remind them of their own responsibility in shaping their destinies. This approach helped maintain a boundary between her work and personal life and ensured she didn't carry others' burdens home. Persistently reminding oneself and others of personal responsibility is crucial. I'm responsible for my own life. If I'm discontent, it's on me to initiate change. When others start sharing their problems, sometimes it's necessary to gently redirect the conversation. I don't wish to dwell on that. What's your plan moving forward? It's important not to indulge them in rehashing their troubles, because by indulging that behavior, they tend to solely focus on those problems. Before you know it, they're constantly reaching out, calling late at night, or showing up unannounced, turning you into their go-to emotional support. When faced with persistent complaints, it's essential not to feed into them. Instead, gently redirect by reiterating, "It's unfortunate, but you're accountable for your own life. What steps will you take?" Often they'll counter with "yes, but," launching into explanations and excuses. The crucial response remains consistent. "I understand your viewpoint, but ultimately, what actions will you take?" This approach often leads to one of two outcomes. Firstly, they might acknowledge the need for change, realizing it's pointless to dwell in constant complaints. Alternatively, they might gradually distance themselves, finding your lack of eagerness to engage in prolonged commiseration less appealing, and they'll seek someone else's empathy instead. Here's a revelation that profoundly impacted me. To move forward, you must release every single negative emotion, and you start by embracing responsibility. It's a concept that seems universally agreeable, yet invariably but lurking in the background, Everyone nods along and seems to consent, but there's always that one exception, that one person who wronged them, the one they're unwilling to relinquish. They hold on to it tight, almost secretly, thinking, sure, I'll accept responsibility, but not for this one. I'm keeping this grudge, this resentment. They believe they're cleverly hiding it, all while continuing to harbor that deep-seated negativity. Consider this scenario. Picture yourself owning a brand new Mercedes, Benz 450 SL. It's an absolute beauty, flawless in every way, worth $120,000, with impeccable engineering and a stunning design. Here's the car, emblem gleaming at the front, all perfection. But unbeknownst to you, there was a mishap at the factory. One of the brakes was installed backward on one of the front wheels. As a result, that particular wheel is entirely locked, refusing to budge. It's a glaring fault, yet none of the factory inspectors noticed it, allowing the flaw to persist. Imagine sitting in that Mercedes-Benz, revving the engine ready to go. But as you hit the gas, something's off. Despite the power under the hood, that one faulty wheel refuses to turn. What unfolds? Well, predictably, the car starts to spin in circles. Now, think of this wheel as a metaphor, a symbolic representation of a pivotal issue. In the realm of psychology, it's akin to the unresolved problems or traumas that persist within us. Unhappiness often stems from having one brake locked, causing individuals to continuously loop in circles, never truly progressing in life. It's like the aim of therapy, helping untangle these knots, whether they're rooted in childhood, relationship shame, or other experiences. Picture having that one brake stubbornly locked in place, holding on to something that's been haunting you. It's like being stuck in an eternal loop, going round and round. Yet there's something transformative about letting go. It demands immense courage to release the grip on a painful past, especially from your formative years. But once you muster that bravery and embrace responsibility, something incredible happens. You're set free. It's like shedding a bag of garbage left behind by the roadside, never to be seen again. That burden fades into the distance, and suddenly your life, like that car, gains the potential for extraordinary destinations and tremendous speeds, all by liberating yourself from just that one thing. Releasing that brake is no easy feat. It demands courage, character, and resilience. It starts with acknowledging responsibility, uttering those empowering words, I am responsible. Yet there's another crucial step, releasing those brakes that hold us back. Releasing those brakes that hold us back. If it were simple, everyone would be living in happiness, popularity, health, and wealth. These brakes, though they're not physical, they're emotional and psychological barriers. Our task is to learn how to set them free, liberating ourselves to soar without constraints. I've encountered numerous individuals whose lives have been transformed, showing that the road to success isn't some inscrutable path. It's within everyone's reach. It all ignites from an intense passion and unwavering resolve. Let me recount a tale that epitomizes determination and the relentless pursuit of success. Back in the 1950s, there was a young man named Thomas. His aspiration? To become a best-selling author. Despite facing rejection upon rejection, he refused to yield. Thomas held on to his determination, realizing each refusal was a step closer to triumph. After enduring 9 rejections, he finally found a publisher who embraced his work. That man was Dr. Seuss, and Thomas's unyielding determination birthed some of the most cherished children's books in history. Thomas's narrative serves as a reminder that success often demands unwavering persistence in the face of adversity. To achieve success, one must be ready to weather setbacks and persistently forge ahead. Remember, failure isn't where you're headed. It's merely a temporary deviation on your journey to success. Now let's delve into the first essential key, establishing clear and precise goals. Goals act as your navigational maps, steering you toward your destination. Without them, you're akin to a ship adrift at sea lacking direction. Setting clear, specific goals provides you with a target to strive for, infusing your actions with purpose and intent. As Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, the starting point of all achievement is desire. You must harbor an unyielding desire for success with every fiber of your being. Your drive for success should be so intense that it compels you to set goals that are profoundly captivating, propelling you into action almost involuntarily. After establishing your objectives, the subsequent key to success is the consistent and resolute pursuit of action. Merely harboring dreams and aspirations isn't sufficient. It's imperative to act upon them. You must be prepared to labor diligently, to get your hands dirty and take the essential strides to transform your aspirations into tangible realities. Success isn't reserved for the hesitant or the feeble-minded. It belongs to those who confront their fears and uncertainties head on, taking audacious steps forward. As Theodore Roosevelt articulated, far better it is to dare mighty things than to rank with those timid spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much. To elucidate the influence of taking action, let's delve into the story of Jim Carrey. Even prior to his rise to stardom, Jim Carrey inscribed a check to himself for $10 million, designated for acting services, and post-dated it to Thanksgiving in 1995. Carrying this check everywhere, he immersed himself in visualizing the moment of receiving that substantial sum. In a remarkable turn of events, just before Thanksgiving in 1994, he landed a movie role that precisely paid him $10 million, materializing his aspiration. Carrey's tale stands as a vivid testament to the law of attraction, accentuating the impact of proactive measures. When you hold firm belief in your goals and take resolute strides towards them, the universe seems to align, aiding in transforming your dreams into tangible reality. Nevertheless, success isn't solely about establishing goals and taking action. It encompasses a continuous journey of learning and personal enhancement. Continuous commitment to learning and personal evolution is imperative for success. It's not a singular achievement, but an ongoing expedition demanding consistent self-improvement and skill advancement. Echoing the sentiments of Henry Ford, who once remarked, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young." Thus, dedicate yourself to reading, attending workshops, and seeking wisdom that propels your journey toward success. Now, on to the next crucial element. Perseverance. Success seldom arrives effortlessly. It's often accompanied by challenges and hurdles. It's during these moments of adversity that your true character emerges, revealing your unyielding determination. Take, for instance, Thomas Edison, the visionary behind the light bulb. Despite facing innumerable failures and setbacks in his quest for a practical electric light, Edison famously quipped, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Thomas Edison's unrelenting determination eventually led to his groundbreaking invention of the light bulb, a creation that transformed the world. It's this perseverance that distinguishes successful individuals from others. When confronted with challenges and hurdles, perceive them not as barriers, but as vital stepping stones on your path to success. Keep advancing, learn from every experience, and remain steadfastly focused on your goals. The final pivotal aspect of success that I'd like to emphasize is the potency of a positive mindset. Your thoughts wield the power to shape your reality, and a positive mindset acts as a magnet attracting success. Believing in your capability to achieve your aspirations fuels the actions necessary to bring them to fruition. As aptly stated by Zig Ziglar, your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Your attitude, self-belief, and resilience in maintaining positivity amid challenges will propel you toward greater heights of success. In closing, I'd like to reinforce a crucial truth. Success isn't accidental. It's a conscious choice, a sequence of purposeful actions, and a mindset unwilling to concede to failure as the ultimate outcome. Set precise and well-defined goals. Take bold and persistent action. Commit yourself to lifelong learning. Persist amidst adversity, and nurture a positive mindset. These facets comprise the keys to unlocking unparalleled success in life. Remember, within you lies the formidable power to craft the life you yearn for. Your dreams aren't distant fantasies. They await your ownership. So step forth and breathe life into your aspirations. The world beckons, and your success story eagerly awaits its authorship. Now, consider your goals. What do you aim to accomplish in your career, relationships, health, or any sphere significant to you? Write them down, visualize their attainment, and devise a strategic plan. In doing so, you'll witness your aspirations materialize, becoming more tangible and within reach, bolstering your determination to pursue them. Always remember, having clear, cut goals is merely the inception. To attain success, unwavering and committed action is imperative. Your goals should steer your daily choices, functioning as a compass that keeps you steadfast on your path. Success isn't a passive pursuit. It demands active pursuit. It demands active participation. You must be ready to invest effort, persist amidst challenges, and adapt as needed. As the illustrious Jim Rohn remarked, the true value in life lies not in what you acquire, but in who you become. Striving toward your goals molds you into a more capable and empowered individual. Your journey is as significant as the destination. Each stride contributes to your personal evolution. To conclude, my friends, bear in mind that success commences with clarity. It commences by defining your goals with absolute precision. I urge you to take a moment for introspection, to articulate your aspirations, and draft a blueprint for your future. With that clarity, you'll possess the drive to propel yourself forward, the resilience to surmount obstacles, and an unwavering belief in your capacity to realize your dreams. Thank you, and may you embark on your journey with determination, fervor, and unshakable faith in your ability to triumph in life.
As you step out of this video, carry not only the valuable advice from Brian Tracy, but also the determination and belief in your own abilities. Turn every idea into a valuable lesson. Motivation Radio celebrates the new year and hopes that each one of us becomes a source of encouragement for others, creating a truly impactful 2024 full of strength and success. Let's embark on this new journey with faith and determination, so we can make our mark in our own lives and the lives of those around us.